Desde la Universidad Militar Nueva Granada, en Bogotá, Colombia, transmite UMNG Radio. UMNG Radio. Una emisora alternativa, cultural e independiente. Desde la Universidad Militar Nueva Granada. Esta es UMNG Radio.
Tune in and speak up. Hello, English learners. Want to learn something interesting whilst having fun? Welcome to Tune In and Speak Up, the podcast where you'll get to know this beautiful language in depth. Each week, we'll dive into exciting topics, share practical tips, and tell you fascinating English language stories. So whether you're studying, going to work, or just relaxing, connect, listen, and let's make English part of your world. Wherever you are, whenever you want, just hit play, tune in and listen up. Tune in to UMNG Radio every Tuesday from 11 a.m. till noon. Don't just learn English, live it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tune In and Speak Up, the podcast from Universidad Militar Nueva Granada, where we explore the fascinating history and evolution of the English language. I'm Jorge Bermudez, professor of English at the Department of Multicultural Studies at UMNG, part of the School of Education and Humanities. I'll be your guide through the stories, words, and cultures that shaped the English we speak today. Whether you're a second language learner or just curious about how English became a global language, you are in the right place. This podcast will help you boost your English skills while diving into fascinating stories from history, culture, and beyond. So grab your headphones, tune in, and let's speak up. Today, we're diving into a revolutionary and fascinating topic, the internet age, how social media changed English. Over the past few decades, the way we communicate has undergone a massive transformation. And at the core of this evolution lies the internet, more specifically, social media. Platforms such as Twitter, now X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook haven't only reshaped our social lives, but have also had a profound impact on the English language itself. Think about it. We no longer just speak or write in traditional ways. We now tweet, post, snap, and story. Our messages are shorter, quicker, and often packed with creativity. Social media has introduced an entirely new set of tools and expressions, from hashtags that categorize our thoughts to abbreviations like LOL, LOL, BRB, and FOMO, FOMO, to emojis that add emotion without a single word. The way we use English today is drastically different from just a generation ago. But that's not all. We have also seen the rise of viral slang. Much of it was born in platforms like TikTok or Reddit, where new expressions spread globally overnight. Words like ghosting, simp, slay, or vibe check may not have appeared in traditional grammar books, but they're now part of everyday conversations, especially among younger generations. This rapid crowdsourced evolution has blurred the lines between standard and informal language in unprecedented ways. In today's episode, we'll take a closer look at how English has adapted to the digital world, breaking down key language trends that have emerged from social media. We'll also consider how these changes influence English language learners like you, both the challenges and the opportunities they bring. For example, should you learn internet slang? What role does emoji literacy play in communication? And how does informal online English compare with the English used in professional or academic settings? So, whether you're a casual user, a language lover, or someone navigating English as a second language, this topic affects you. Let's log in, swipe through some linguistic shifts, and scroll through the many ways social media is reshaping how we express ourselves. It's going to be a scroll-worthy episode you won't want to miss. Okay, our first segment, the role of social media in language evolution. Let's start by stepping back and looking at the big picture. Social media platforms have rapidly become global hubs for communication, connection, and creativity. With billions of users engaging across platforms like Twitter, now X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Reddit, and more. We're witnessing the evolution of language in real time. What once took generations to shift in traditional spoken or written forms is now happening in months or even weeks online. The fundamental structure of social media has played a major role in this transformation. For instance, Twitter's original 140-character limit expanded to 280 in 2017, forced users to express ideas quickly and briefly. This encouraged the widespread use of abbreviations, acronyms, and clever wordplay. Phrases like the ones we can see in the screen, ICYMI, in case you missed it, FOMO, fear of missing out, and TLDR, too long, didn't read, emerged not from textbooks but from everyday users trying to make the most of limited space. Meanwhile, platforms like Instagram shifted the focus toward visual communication. Emojis, once considered playful or informal, became essential parts of digital expression. Hashtags, originally invented to categorize content, evolved into a kind of meta language, conveying mood, intent, or irony. For example, hashtag blessed, hashtag no filter, hashtag Monday motivation. In many cases, the hashtag became more expressive than the caption itself. Then there's TikTok, arguably the most linguistically influential platform among Generation Z. With its short-form videos and viral challenges, TikTok acts as a breeding ground for new slang and internet trends. Phrases like no cap, main character energy, girl math, or it's giving have become household terms through mass exposure on the app. The speed at which this slang spreads is unprecedented, and it reflects the playful, remix-heavy culture of the platform. Let's look at this slide. New slang and internet trends. So we have for example, the main character energy, when the person feels is the center of attention. Girls math, a little bit pejorative in my opinion. No cap, yes, we discussed that one last week, and it's giving. So all these born on TikTok. One of the most striking things about this change is how rapid it is. Unlike traditional media, newspapers, books, television, where language change occurs slowly and through formal channels, social media is decentralized and dynamic. Anyone can contribute to the evolution of English, and viral content can elevate obscure or playful expressions into globally recognized terms. Consider how words like selfie, influencer, ghosting, and unfriend gained official recognition in dictionaries, all thanks to online communities. But the influence of social media isn't limited to new words alone. It also affects how we use language, how we construct sentences, convey emotion, or even perform identity, humor, sarcasm, irony, and tone. All these are increasingly conveyed through punctuation, capitalization, repetition, or emojis, a major change from traditional grammar rules. As we'll see in the next segment, the impact of social media on English goes beyond vocabulary. It's changing the structure, tone, and norms of communication, not only among native speakers, but also for those learning English as a second language. And that opens some exciting possibilities and a few challenges too. So that takes us to our second segment, the language trends born on social media. Social media hasn't just influenced what we say, it has completely reshaped how we say it. It's become a laboratory for linguistic experimentation, where users constantly invent, remix, and spread new ways of expressing themselves. Let's take a closer look at some of the most prominent and fascinating language trends that originated or evolved on social platforms. For example, abbreviations and acronyms. The fast-paced, space-limited nature of social media encourages brevity. Users have developed countless shortcuts to say more with less. Classic abbreviations like LOL, laugh out loud, BRB, the ones that we can see in the slide, be right back, and OMG, oh my god, date back to the early days of internet chat rooms. But they gained mainstream popularity thanks to social networks. Then we have acronyms like TBT, Throwback Thursday, YOLO, You Only Live Once, and SMH, Shaking My Head, which became popular hashtags or captions, often trending weekly or becoming part of online challenges. Today, many of these acronyms are so widely used that they appear in spoken conversation, marketing campaigns, and even academic research on digital communication. Importantly, these abbreviations go beyond convenience. They also reflect tone, humor, identity, and belonging with specific online communities. And that takes us to our next slide, hashtags as meta language. Originally developed as a way to categorize content, first introduced on Twitter in 2007, the hashtag has since evolved into a form of expression in its own right. Tags like Throwback Thursday, the ones we can see in the slide, OOTD, meaning outfit of the day, and we can see a picture of probably an Instagrammer, fashionista, showing her outfit of the day, and hashtag no filter help group content, but they also signal a kind of digital personality. People now use hashtags in humorous or ironic ways. For instance, blessed, might accompany a luxury vacation, while hashtag first world problems often accompanies a sarcastic complaint. As we can see in this picture, we have a glass of milk and a cookie that won't fit into the glass. And just to indicate that the problems of the first world have no comparison to the problems of the developing and underdeveloping countries. Hashtags can also be strung together to tell micro stories. Think, hashtag, I don't know who needs to hear this, but, or hashtag, this is why we can't have nice things. Transform into meta commentary, compact, clever tools to frame meaning, emotion, and context in one phrase. Now, emojis as digital body language. With tone and facial expression missing from text, emojis have filled the gap as digital equivalents of body language and facial cues. A heart, a fire, or a face palm can completely change the tone of a sentence. Emojis now complement and sometimes replace words, especially in casual communication. Some emojis have taken on layered or symbolic meanings. The eyes emoji might signal interest or suspicion. The clown face is often used to express modest humor. And the skull emoji is not always about death. It often means I'm dying of laughter. Entire emoji sequences can now tell a story or deliver a punchline. Think of them as a hieroglyphic of the digital age, visual, expressive, and culturally loaded. Slang and memes as cultural markers. Let's see. These are the emojis we were talking about, right? The fire, the skull, the emoji of the eyes. What else? The clown face and the heart, right? Okay, slang and memes as cultural markers. Online platforms are fertile ground for the rapid evolution of slang. Terms like stan, a devoted fan from the Eminem song Stan, slay, to dominate or look fabulous. Here we can see these words and the corresponding meaning. And tea, gossip or truth, are rooted in specific subcultures like fandoms, drag culture, or Black Twitter, but have gone mainstream through viral content. Memes, in particular, act as vehicles for spreading this language. A single image paired with a relatable caption can introduce a new catchphrase that becomes instantly recognizable across the globe. Think of, okay, boomer, used to dismiss outdated views, or it's giving, which prefaces a comparison or mood description. For example, it's giving main character energy to indicate that someone appears to be in that particular mood. Memes also create shared cultural references, helping users bond through humor, parody, and satire, all while contributing to the evolution of the language. Now, creative spellings, stylizations, and internet dialects. On social media, standard spelling, let's see the next one. On social media, standard spelling often takes a backseat to style and personality. Repetitions and distortions can be used for emphasis, as we can see in this slide. For example, yes, queen, an exaggerated yes, often celebratory. Thick, used to compliment a curvy figure with a playful tone. SRSLY, meaning seriously, please, or OMW, meaning on my way, shortened spellings used for speed and tone. These changes are not random. They follow patterns that reflect online, in-group identity, and humor. For example, excessive vowels. When you say, hey, right? Or no, I write all these vowels, can suggest enthusiasm or drama. Lowercase only sentences can feel casual or ironic, while all caps might signal excitement or mock anger, as if you're yelling at someone. These stylizations have given rise to what linguists sometimes call internet dialects, distinct ways of writing that reflect community norms rather than traditional grammar rules. Taken together, these trends demonstrate just how flexible expressive, and rapidly changing English has become in the digital age. But for learners of English as a second language, this presents a unique challenge. How do you keep up with these informal variations while also mastering formal English? That's what we'll explore in the next section. And that takes us to our next segment, segment 3, challenges and opportunities for language learners. For learners of English, social media can feel like both a doorway, meaning entrance, and a maze, meaning a labyrinth, a complication. On one hand, it offers constant exposure to real world contemporary language, the kind of English that native speakers actually use in everyday life. On the other hand, it presents unique challenges, full of informal expressions, fast changing slang, emojis, abbreviations, and cultural references that may not be covered in textbooks. Unlike the structured and rule based English taught in classrooms, social media English is casual, experimental, and ever evolving. This makes it incredibly dynamic, but also unpredictable. Language learners might struggle with humor, irony, sarcasm, or trends that rely on cultural knowledge or inside jokes. Misunderstandings can easily happen, especially when tone is implied through punctuation, memes, or emoji combinations. Still, the benefits of learning through social media are enormous. It's a rich environment for improving comprehension, expanding vocabulary, and developing confidence with informal English. When approached with curiosity and strategy, it becomes a powerful supplement to traditional learning. Here are some expanded tips for navigating social media English successfully. Tip number 1, follow English speaking creators across different platforms. Later. Okay, here, it's okay. Here we have the suggestions. So, again, following influencers, content creators, news outlets, or educators who post regularly in English. Choose a mix: comedians, artists, fashion influencers, tech reviewers, language teachers, or even meme pages. This gives you varied exposure to tone, style, and vocabulary. Try to observe how these creators interact with their followers. What kind of phrases do they repeat? How do they respond to comments? Mimicking their style, when appropriate, in your own captions or replies is a great way to practice fluency in a low pressure way. Also, don't just scroll, read captions out loud. Notice how they use emojis or punctuation for emotion and compare posts from different types of creators to see how language changes across communities. Second tip, learn through context and repetition. Social media is ideal for contextual learning. When you come across a new expression like spill the tea, that we have discussed here, which means to share gossip, try not to reach for the dictionary right away. Instead, look at how it's used in a conversation. Is someone telling a story? Are others reacting with shock of laughter? This process helps you internalize the meaning in a natural way. You'll also notice that phrases and slang repeat often. That's how trends work. Exposure to repetition across different posts and videos will gradually make new terms feel more familiar and usable. And remember, it's okay to not to understand everything. Even native speakers Google slang sometimes. Tip number 3, use online tools, but with caution. Translation tools like Google Translate, DeepL, or even online slang dictionaries like Urban Dictionary or Grammarly's Slang Guide can help when you're stuck. They're useful for decoding new terms or checking spelling and meanings. However, keep in mind that these tools don't always capture tone, sarcasm, or cultural context, especially with internet slang or memes. Try to use these tools as a starting point rather than a final answer. If a translation or slang definition doesn't make sense, try searching for examples or explanations on YouTube or Reddit, or ask a native speaker in a learning group. And that takes us to tip number 4: engage actively with English speaking communities. The best way to learn is by doing. Comment on Instagram posts, reply to tweets, or leave a reaction on a TikTok video. Even a short sentence like, "This is so true," or "I love this," gets you practicing real interaction. Over time, you'll build confidence in using casual English. If you're ready for more conversation, consider joining online groups, forums, or Discord communities where English is the main language. Reddit, Facebook groups, and language exchange apps are great places to start. Look for communities related to your interest, whether it's travel, music, gaming, or even English learning itself. Small daily interactions in English help build both fluency and cultural understanding, two things social media is uniquely suited to develop. Social media opens up a world of opportunities for language learners that didn't exist a generation ago. It offers a change to learn English, not just as a system of grammar and vocabulary, but as a living, breathing, constantly shifting mode of communication. That's exciting, but it also means you have to be flexible, open minded, and patient with yourself. So explore, laugh at memes, ask questions, try new phrases, make mistakes, and most importantly, have fun with the language. Because when learning becomes enjoyable and meaningful, fluency is never far behind. In the next and final segment of the episode, we'll reflect on how social media is shaping the future of English and what it might look like in the years to come. So let's get into the segment 4: the impact of social media English on communication. Social media has done more than introduce new words. It has reshaped the very way we express ourselves and connect with others. From tone and format to visual expression and cultural mixing, communication today looks very different from just a decade ago. Let's take a deeper look at some of the most important transformations sparked by social media English. Okay, now the next one, but yeah. Okay, more casual conversational communication. One of the most noticeable changes is how informal language has become, even in traditionally formal spaces. Social media encourages a relaxed conversational tone, which has filtered into how people write emails, blogs, ads, and even academic posts. Professional brands now use slang, emojis, and humor to appear more human and relatable. For example, a tech company might tweet, "We fixed the bug," as we see it here. "Thanks for your patience," rather than a formal statement. This blurring of formal and informal boundaries reflects a cultural shift toward authenticity and immediacy. For English learners, it's an opportunity to understand different registers of language, from casual to semi-formal, and how tone can change depending on the platform, audience, or purpose. At the same time, it presents challenges. Learners need to learn when it's okay to say, "Oh my God, this is lit," or "OMG, this is lit," and when a more neutral or polite form is expected. Now, the rise of visual language, emojis, GIFs, and memes. Communication on social media is no longer about words or just words. Visual elements have become essential to convey tone, emotion, and intention. Emojis act as emotional punctuation. They can soften criticism, intensify joy, or clarify sarcasm. GIFs, short looping clips, often replace text altogether. A shrugging character or a dancing animal can say more than a sentence. Memes combine image and caption in a way that adds humor, irony, or cultural commentary. This multimodal language creates a richer, more expressive form of communication, one that crosses linguistic boundaries and taps into shared emotional cues. However, because these elements rely heavily on cultural knowledge and internet literacy, their meaning may not always be obvious to non native speakers. For example, the school emotion that we checked recently is often used to say, I'm dead. Not literally, obviously, but in the sense of laughing so hard that one died of laughter. This type of usage requires both context and familiarity with online humor. Another aspect is the cross cultural language exchange and borrowing. Social media connects billions of people across the globe, and as a result, English has absorbed influences from many other languages. This has led to a more diverse and culturally rich vocabulary. Here on the slide, we have some examples. Japanese words like kawaii, meaning cute or adorable, like the little animals we have in the picture, are now used by English speakers, especially in fashion or pop culture. Korean phrases like sarange, meaning I love you, and ergyo, charming, and charming cute, right? Cuteness, have become common in K-pop fan communities, being K-pop so super famous and popular now. Spanish expressions such as "sí se puede," yeah, or "dale," show up in memes and influencer captions. This cultural blending reflects not only linguistic diversity, but also the global nature of fandoms, trends, and digital communities. English is no longer shaped only by native speakers. It is being co created by people from many different backgrounds. For learners, this means that exposure to English on social media also offers insight into other cultures, making the language feel more inclusive and dynamic. And now we live the age of brevity and creativity. Thanks to platforms like X, TikTok, Instagram Stories, and YouTube Shorts, modern communication is increasingly short, fast paced, and punchy. The 280 character limit, 60-second videos, or 15-second reels have forced users to say more in less time. This has led to a rise in creative storytelling, using humor, pacing, and visuals to get a point across quickly. Greater use of implied meaning, where tone, emoji, and structure suggest more than what's actually written. New writing formats like threads, storytime captions, or split screens in videos that unfold a story in digestible chunks. As a result, social media users are developing stronger narrative instincts and a knack for timing, rhythm, and wordplay. For English learners, these platforms are great for learning idiomatic expressions, humor, and tone, but they also demand new skills: reading between the lines, recognizing humor, and understanding layered meaning. In summary, social media English has revolutionized communication by making it more informal, visual, global, and concise. While this evolution presents challenges, especially for learners trying to grasp context, slang, or cultural nuance, it also opens up exciting possibilities. It invites people to participate in a living, global version of English that values creativity and connection over perfect grammar. As language continues to adapt to the digital world, one thing is clear: the way we write, speak, and connect online will keep evolving, and we all have a role in shaping what comes next. Okay, so as we finish today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we have explored. The rise of social media has profoundly transformed the English language, making it more dynamic, more creative, and more connected than ever before. Through platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and beyond, English has evolved into something far more flexible and expressive. New words, hashtags, memes, emojis, and viral trends have become a part of everyday conversation, not just online, but in real life too. What once might have seemed like slang or internet jargon is now woven into how people talk, write, and even think. This transformation isn't just a change in vocabulary, it's a cultural shift in communication. We're now using English in ways that reflect our emotions visually, share humor instantly, and connect with people across the globe. Social media has turned the language into a more inclusive and democratic tool, shaped by people from all walks of life, not just academics or native speakers. What does this mean for language learners? If you're learning English, this moment in time is especially exciting. Social media gives you front row access to the most current, natural, and culturally rich form of the language. It's a place where you can see English in action in all its informal, creative, and sometimes chaotic glory. And unlike traditional learning tools, social media lets you join the conversation by commenting, posting, sharing, or just observing how native speakers express themselves, whether it's through hashtags like Monday motivation, emojis, or slang phrases like that's a vibe. You're not just learning vocabulary, you're learning how English feels. Of course, this can also be challenging. The rapid pace of change, the abundance of inside jokes, and the cultural context behind certain expressions may be overwhelming. But don't let that discourage you. Instead, approach social media English with curiosity and confidence. Make mistakes, ask questions, laugh at memes, even if you don't fully understand them, because one day you will. So go ahead, embrace the memes, explore the trends, and experiment with language. Whether you're typing LOL, adding a GIF to your story, or using the fire emoji to hype up a friend's post, you're taking part in a global conversation that is shaping the future of English. And remember, what may seem like silly or informal expressions today often become part of tomorrow's accepted language. Words like selfie, unfriend, and even hashtag once felt new or strange. Now they are in dictionaries. The English language isn't just growing, it's growing with you. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today on Tune In and Speak Up as we explored how the internet age and social media have transformed English. I hope this episode helped you see the language in a new light, not as a fixed set of rules, but as a living, breathing form of expression that is evolving every day. If you enjoyed today's topic or have thoughts to share, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us a message with your opinions, impressions, or suggestions for improvement. Your feedback helps us grow and keeps this podcast relevant and inspiring for learners like you. We'll be back next semester. Okay, this is the last episode for this semester. Vacations coming next week with another exciting season designed to help you understand English better, speak more confidently, and connect with others through conversation. So please make sure you tune in next semester, where we will be exploring not the history of language, because that's what we did this semester, starting with the history of the origins of the language until the internet age, but we will be exploring incredible topics about curiosities, about life in general, not only or not specifically the language. Okay, so I'll see you next semester. And until then, keep scrolling, keep posting, and most importantly, keep learning English. Thank you very much, Leonardo. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Desde la Universidad Militar Nueva Granada
y sus
Bogotá,
protagonistas
Colombia,
están en UMNG Radio.
UMNG Radio. UMNG Radio. Una emisora alternativa, cultural e independiente. Desde la Universidad Militar Nueva Granada. Esta es UMNG Radio.